August 13th, 2026, President Trump issues an order to the United States Navy. The Navy should stop installing electromagnetic aircraft catapults on its newest aircraft carriers. The Navy should return to steam catapults, the same technology the Navy has used since the 1950s. It's an unusual decision, not because returning to proven technology is inherently bad, but because of the timing. The electromagnetic catapult system, called EMALS, isn't new anymore. It's been installed, it's been tested, it's been refined, it's been operating at sea, and according to the Navy, it's working. EMALS was expensive, it was late, it was notoriously unreliable during development. It was a technology that caused real problems, but it has now overcome those problems and it's working just fine. It's being abandoned anyway, with orders to return to the old technology, essentially on the whim of one person. I'm Keith Conrad, and this is Sidequests. Today, the great catapult reversal. Why the Navy switched to electromagnetic launching in the first place, why it had serious problems, why those problems appear to have been fixed, and what this decision tells us about knowing when to stick with proven technology and when to embrace new technology, even if it's painful at first. Before we get into the decision, let's talk about what aircraft carrier catapults do. A modern fighter jet, an F-18 Super Hornet, for example, needs thousands of feet of runway to take off normally. It needs space to accelerate to a safe takeoff speed. An aircraft carrier doesn't have thousands of feet of runway. It's out in the middle of the ocean. A carrier deck is maybe 1,000 feet long. That's it. And part of that is taken up by parked aircraft, fuel storage, equipment. So the carrier has to accomplish something seemingly impossible: accelerate an airplane weighing tens of thousands of pounds from essentially zero to flying speed in only a few hundred feet. For decades, really for the entire modern era of naval aviation, the answer to this problem has been the steam catapult. High-pressure steam is generated by the aircraft carrier's propulsion plant, nuclear reactors. They generate heat. That heat makes steam. That high-pressure steam is channeled beneath the flight deck into a cylinder. The steam pushes a piston. The piston pulls a shuttle. The shuttle is connected to the aircraft's nose gear. As the steam pressure pushes, the shuttle accelerates down the deck, pulling the aircraft with it, and within seconds, 2 or 3 seconds, the aircraft reaches flying speed and takes off. It's proven technology. It works. The U.S. Navy spent decades perfecting steam catapults. Countless refinements, millions of launches, decades of operational experience, and the results are undeniable. U.S. naval aviation is the most powerful, most capable naval aviation force in the world, built on the foundation of reliable steam catapults. That reliability is central to Trump's argument for going back to steam. Why replace something simple and proven with something enormously complicated? It turns out steam catapults, despite their reliability, have limitations. They're heavy. Massive equipment beneath the flight deck. Heavy machinery, they're mechanically complex, lots of moving parts, lots of things that can fail or need maintenance. The steam system requires constant attention, corrosion, wear and tear, the need for sailors trained in steam system operations. They're also very hard on aircraft. The sudden jolt of acceleration, that powerful push from the steam, stresses the airframe, stresses the landing gear. Over thousands of launches, that wear adds up. And they offer limited control over exactly how acceleration is applied. The steam blast happens, the acceleration is what it is. Plus there's something else. Naval aviation is changing. The U.S. Navy increasingly wants to launch everything from aircraft carriers, not just traditional heavy fighter jets, but potentially lighter unmanned aircraft in the future. Drones, different types of aircraft with different weights and launch requirements. With steam, you've got one basic acceleration profile. Push the piston, launch the plane. With electromagnetic systems, you could adjust the acceleration for different aircraft, tailor the launch to what's being launched. That's where EMALS becomes attractive. The electromagnetic aircraft launch system, instead of using steam cylinders and pistons, EMALS replaces them with electromagnetic propulsion. Think of it like a gigantic electromagnetic roller coaster. If you've ever ridden the Hulk roller coaster at Universal Studios in Florida, it's basically the same thing. Electrical energy is stored, released through a linear motor. That motor accelerates the aircraft along the deck. It's more of a computer-controlled system, more precision, more adjustability. The Navy's arguments for EMALS looked compelling on paper: smoother acceleration profile, less violent jolt to the airframe, more precise control of launch speed. Computers can adjust the acceleration curve in real time. Less stress on aircraft. A gentler launch means longer aircraft lifespan. Reduced maintenance compared to steam. No steam plumbing to maintain and corrosion issues on the ship. Reduced manpower required. Fewer sailors needed to operate and maintain the system. Ability to launch a wider variety of aircraft. Unmanned aircraft, lighter aircraft, different types, higher potential sortie rates, theoretical capability to launch more aircraft per day. So in the 1990s and 2000s, the Navy decided to move forward with EMALS for its next-generation aircraft carrier, the Gerald R. Ford class. The Gerald R. Ford class wasn't just a Nimitz-class carrier with EMALS bolted onto it. The Navy redesigned the entire ship around EMALS. The Ford's electrical generating capacity was increased. The all-electric utilities, power distribution throughout the ship, was designed specifically for EMALS. The steam service lines that previous carriers needed, completely removed from the design entirely. The Navy explicitly removed steam infrastructure from the ship to make room for other systems, to reduce maintenance requirements and add potential expansion in the future. In other words, the Navy didn't just add EMALS, they redesigned everything around EMALS. That's important to understand. But then something happened. EMALS had serious problems. It was expensive. Billions of dollars for development and installation. It was delayed. Timeline after timeline slipped. It was less reliable than promised. During development and initial deployment, the system had lots of failures and breakdowns. During testing aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford in 2020, EMALS faults interrupted flight operations for several days while technicians diagnosed problems with the system's power handling equipment. It was embarrassing. Public failures, news coverage, congressional scrutiny. President Trump, during his first administration, became a persistent critic. His argument was straightforward. Steam worked. Sailors understood it. Why spend billions on something that wasn't working? That's actually a fair question. When you have a technology that works and you replace it with something that doesn't work, that's a bad decision. Here's where it gets interesting. The story doesn't end in 2020 with EMALS failures. Engineers continued working on the system, identifying problems, fixing them. Sailors gained experience using and maintaining it, training, developing expertise. The USS Gerald R. Ford, despite the early problems, continued operating. As a matter of fact, the EMALS problems and the eventual solutions make a brief appearance in my 2020 sci-fi, Righteous Might. It had already been fixed by then. Also, you should check out Righteous Might. By August 2026, according to Reuters, EMALS had accumulated more than 36,000 launches. And what's the Navy's current assessment? In February 2026, months before Trump's order, the Navy stated that EMALS and the Advanced Arresting Gear System were operating as designed. More importantly, preliminary results indicated that the Ford's flight deck and new launch and recovery systems were contributing to a higher sortie rate than older Nimitz-class carriers. Translation: the system is working well, better than the old system it replaced. Trump's criticism is largely based on real problems the system did experience, but he's ordering its replacement. Those problems appear to have been overcome. The Navy endured the painful research and development part. The growing pains, it paid for the development, it redesigned the carrier around it, it trained sailors, it fixed problems, and now, just as the system is maturing and working as intended, the Navy has been ordered to turn around and go back to something it deliberately moved away from. But here's where it gets even more complicated. The USS Doris Miller is the fourth Ford-class carrier. It's already under construction. The keel hasn't been laid yet, but according to General Atomics, the manufacture production of EMALS for Doris Miller is already nearly 50% complete. So now the Navy has been ordered to put steam catapults back in. That means redesigning major portions of the ship. Remember, the Ford class was deliberately designed without steam infrastructure. No steam service lines, no steam plumbing. Reintroducing steam catapults requires significant redesign. But where do you put the steam generators? The steam lines, any auxiliary equipment you might need? The ship was designed with all electric utilities. Reintroducing steam means rethinking how power flows through the ship. But there's another complication. The Navy hasn't purchased new steam catapults in roughly 2 decades. The last carrier with steam catapults was the USS George H.W. Bush in 2009. So returning to proven technology doesn't mean ordering something already sitting on a shelf, ready to go. It means restarting an industrial capacity that has largely gone dormant. The companies that manufacture steam catapult components, the supply chains, the expertise, all of that has been shut down or has been reallocated to other projects. Rebuilding that industrial capacity takes lots of time and lots of money. Here's the central irony. The administration argues that returning to simpler, proven technology will reduce costs, simpler system, lower price, improve reliability. Proven technology means fewer surprises. It could strengthen American shipbuilding, but critics argue the reversal will instead cost billions to redesign and rebuild, delay construction of Doris Miller as well as the other planned Ford-class ships. It will require extensive redesign of ships that are already in progress, and it will ultimately produce a less capable aircraft carrier. The thing Trump said would reduce costs, going back to simple, proven technology, will actually increase costs significantly because of the redesign work required. Meanwhile, other major naval powers are going in the opposite direction. China's newest carrier, the Fujian, has moved toward electromagnetic catapults. France also plans electromagnetic launch systems for its future carrier. So while other major carrier powers are moving toward more advanced electromagnetic launching, the United States would be moving back towards steam. Now, that doesn't automatically make the decision wrong. Military technology shouldn't be adopted merely because it's newer. Sometimes old technology really is cheaper, more reliable, easier to repair. The relevant question isn't whether steam is old. It's whether steam produces a better aircraft carrier in 2035 and 2045 than the now maturing email system. This situation raises a bigger question that applies to lots of technology decisions. Every revolutionary technology follows something like the same curve. First, the old system works. It's proven and reliable. Second, the new system is developed. Promises enormous improvements, efficiency gains, capability gains. Third, the new system initially performs terribly. Problems emerge. Delays occur, cost overruns happen. People ask why we abandon the old system. Then one of two things happens. Option A, the new technology never fulfills its promises. It remains problematic. You probably made the wrong choice. You should have stuck with the old system. Option B, engineers fix it. The technology improves. Eventually, nobody can imagine going back. The old system seems ancient. The new system becomes the obvious choice. EMALS may be at exactly that point now, at the transition from painful development to proven capability. The Navy already endured the painful part. It paid for research and development. It redesigned the carrier, trained sailors, fixed reliability problems. Now, just as the system appears to be working, the Navy has been ordered to turn around. There's an economic concept called sunk costs. Money already spent. Resources already committed. The traditional economic advice is don't let sunk costs influence your decisions about the future. If EMALS is genuinely worse than steam, you should switch back to steam, even if that means wasting the money already spent on EMALS. But the question is EMALS genuinely worse? Or is it worse for development, but better for operations? Those are different questions. If you reverse the decision now, you're incurring new costs. Redesign, supply chain rebuilding, delays on top of delays. This comes down to one question. When you have a technology that was problematic during development but is now working well, why would you abandon it and go back to the old system? Trump's argument is that EMALS has been too much trouble and too much expense. The Navy's argument is that emails is now working and provides capabilities that Steam cannot match. Who's right? That's a decision that will have consequences for decades. For the capability of American naval aviation and the cost of building aircraft carriers. So the Command-in-Chief has given an order to return to Steam catapults, to abandon a technology that was painful during development but appears, by all accounts, to be working now, to redesign ships that have already been redesigned around the old technology, to rebuild industrial capacity that has gone dormant. Opponents will call it an example of knowing when to give up on something new, knowing when to return to proven systems. Critics will say it's abandoning a new technology right at the moment it's maturing. The full consequences of this decision won't be clear for years, decades even. I'm Keith Conrad. Thanks for listening to Sidequests.